All right, today we're diving into something that I think is absolutely critical, the real habits that separate people who have a flash of success from those who achieve high performance year after year. It's a huge difference, and we're about to unpack exactly what it takes. I mean, you've probably wondered this, right? We've all seen those people who are just brilliant, so talented. They have a great run, and then they just seem to disappear. What's the secret sauce? What allows some people to keep leveling up while so many others just get stuck?
Well, it really boils down to the difference between two kinds of people. On one side, you've got the achievers. Now, don't get me wrong, they work hard, they get results, but eventually that drive fades, they hit a wall, and they burn out. But then you have the high performers. These folks don't just win, they sustain it, they keep winning, and, this is key, they do it while actually protecting their own well-being.
Now here's the kicker, the part that gets me really excited. The gap between those two groups, it has almost nothing to do with being born a genius, having incredible talent, or just getting lucky. It comes down to a system, a set of 6 very specific, very deliberate habits that literally anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn and practice to build a life of sustained success.
So here's our game plan. We're going to look at that performance gap, then we'll break down the habits for your inner foundation, for driving real action, and for making a bigger impact. Then we'll wrap it all up.
First up, let's really dig into this high-performance gap. We're talking about the journey from just getting things done to creating lasting excellence.
Okay, so the first couple of habits are all about mastering your own internal world. Before you can change anything out there, you've got to get your own house in order. And that starts with 2 things, clarity and energy. High performers are not just winging it. They are obsessed with seeking clarity. And this isn't about having some fuzzy idea of what they want. No, this is a deep, honest-to-goodness understanding of who they are, what they truly value, and a super clear picture of the future they're trying to build.
So how do you actually do that? Well, there's a really powerful exercise called the Future 4. High performers are constantly asking themselves these 4 questions. Who am I becoming? How do I want to show up for the people in my life? What skills do I absolutely have to master? And, so important, who am I really serving with all this work? Answering these gives you an incredible internal compass.
But all the clarity in the world doesn't mean a thing if you don't have the fuel in the tank to act on it. And that brings us to habit number 2, you have to generate energy. Think of yourself like a power plant. High performers know that energy isn't something you just magically have, it's something you create on purpose every single day.
And here is a super simple but unbelievably powerful way to do this. Just think about all the transitions in your day. Finishing a stressful call and then having to write a report, or leaving work to go home to your family. High performers master these little moments. They take just a minute, take a deep breath, release the tension from whatever just happened, and then set an intention for what's next. This tiny little ritual is a secret weapon against burnout. So, with that strong inner foundation of clarity and energy in place, we can move on to the next set of habits. These are all about taking that internal power and turning it into real, consistent results out in the world.
Okay, this one right here, this is a total game changer. High performers don't just hope they feel motivated. Motivation is flimsy, it comes and goes. Instead, they cultivate a deep sense of necessity. It's this powerful internal drive where performing at their best isn't just a nice idea, it's a requirement. It becomes part of who they are.
And here's a fantastic little trick to build that feeling. It's called the desk trigger. Every single time you sit down to do your most important work, you ask yourself this one simple question. Instantly, it shifts your focus from how do I feel to who is counting on me? Your team, your family, your customers. It makes your work bigger than just you. Next up is productivity. And let me tell you, high performers view this so differently than most people. It's not about being busy. It's not about having a to-do list a mile long. It is all about a ruthless focus on the few things that actually produce meaningful results. The stuff that really moves the needle. And check this out. Studies show that the average person spends almost a third of their entire work week just on email. That's insane. That's a huge chunk of time spent being reactive, not proactive. High performers are warriors when it comes to protecting their time from low-value traps like that. So how do they stay on track? They think in terms of 5. For any big goal they have, they chart out what they call the 5 moves. These are the 5 major projects or steps that will get them to the finish line. It takes a fuzzy dream and turns it into a crystal clear roadmap. All right, we've covered your inner world and your personal actions. Now for the final 2 habits.
This is where you start to multiply your impact. It's about taking all that success and extending it to the world around you through influence and courage.
Now, when we talk about influence, we're not talking about manipulation or having power over people. For high performers, influence is about one thing: making other people better. They teach others how to think, they challenge them to step up, and they inspire them by being role models for what's possible.
And that brings us to the final habit, courage. It's so important to get this right. Courage isn't about being fearless. Nobody is fearless. Courage is about acting despite the fear. It's about choosing to move forward when things are uncertain, and it's about seeing struggle not as a setback, but as a necessary part of growth.
You can really think of courage as the glue that holds all the other habits together. I mean, you can have all the clarity and energy in the world, but if you don't have the courage to take that risk, to speak up, to try something new, well, none of the other habits really matter, do they?
Okay, let's bring this all home. What's so powerful here is that these aren't 6 random tips. They all work together. They form this beautiful, interconnected system for building not just a great career, but a truly extraordinary life. Look at them all together here. It just makes sense, right? You seek clarity on your path. You generate the energy for the journey. You raise the necessity so you have to act. You increase your productivity on the right things. You develop influence to lead others, and you demonstrate the courage to see it all through.
And if you take away only one thing from this, let it be this: high performance is not a personality trait. You're not born with it. It's a choice. It's a decision you get to make, starting today, and then you make it again tomorrow and the day after that.
So I'll leave you with this final question. Looking at these 6 habits, don't get overwhelmed. Don't try to master them all at once. Just pick one. Which of these habits, if you really started to practice it right now, today, would make the biggest difference in your life? Think about it. The power is completely in your hands.